y'all, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're taking a look at another video on series review, and we're taking a look at Mandalorian. I feel like there's a massive problem with my series reviews, anime reviews, show reviews, and film reviews on the channel, so I am trying to rectify that and make longer ones and more detailed thoughts and opinions going into this. I am not going to be doing Mandalorian as a whole. I am sticking with Season 3 or Season 4 because Mandalorian did take over most of the Boba Fett series. So here is my Mandalorian Season 3 review. I'm going to be talking about everything from the episodes, and yeah, I thought it started off pretty well. And I quite liked how it went in depth with the Mandalorians and how they explored the Mandalorian side of things more than just going on more aimless adventures with Mandalorian to build up to one big sort of thing at the end, because that's the plot line the last two seasons followed. Random adventures, episodic adventures that slowly build up to one main story. But that's not how this went at all. It was more of going across with Bo-Katan, going to get himself back into the clan, which is a big meaningful event for him. So him going to Mandalore, going in the pool, and getting his honor back. Then Bo-Katan being the leader of Mandalorians. I thought it was all really cool. The one episode I didn't like was when it completely shifted focus and it went off to that one guy from Season 1 who was experimenting on Baby Yoda, or Grogu as he's now called. I really didn't like that. I didn't like that episode. It did bring cloning and stuff into it, and how they found out where Mandalorian was, but I really didn't like it, and it could have been done in a much shorter way, and I thought it was a waste of an episode. But the pirates were cool because they were working for Moff Gideon and they were from the start, so it's the same sort of thing where they linked stuff from episodes that didn't seem as significant and made them significant, and that's the good thing with Mandalorian. And I saw a lot of people shitting on this season because how quickly Grogu came back after going with Luke for a little bit. I didn't mind that. Obviously it's gonna have Grogu. He's the moneymaker. He's the one that actually makes the money. You saw that from Season 1, how big of a surprise he was and how much of a hit he was. So of course they were going to bring him back. And a lot of people saying they could have at least waited a little bit to see how Mandalorian did on his own. But we sort of got that in Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, when Mando took over that and had like two or three episodes all on himself. And plus, it's a good duo dynamic they have with Grogu and the Mandalorian, or Din Djarin as he's actually called. It was a good dynamic, and they've kept that going. It's like a father-son, best friend sort of bond. He cares for Grogu, but he also wants to teach him, nurture him, help him grow into a new Mandalorian, because that's what Grogu is going to become. He's going to be like a Jedi Mandalorian. I've seen really cool concept art of him in Mandalorian armor, wearing and holding a lightsaber, thinking it's really cool. Bo-Katan then gets the Darksaber back, which is really important. We have a really sad scene where one of the Mandalorians died, and he did get a lot of screen time this season. They really took time in making you connect with him. You went on a whole ass mission to save his son. You went on a whole ass mission with him before. He's been in the series from the start, and you've really grown to sort of like the character. And then at that point, when you know you're starting to like a character, that they're going to kill him off, it was looking back on it, it was obvious, but I didn't see it coming. And when he did actually die, I did shed a tear. So this series made me feel the emotions. I was excited for the new episodes. Except that one with a scientist. I was very bored through that, and I didn't really watch it. I was still doing other things as it was on, just listening to it in the background. But The Mandalorian is the one Star Wars show I like and I'm keeping up with. Boba Fett was okay. Obi-Wan Kenobi was okay. Mandalorian is fucking amazing, and I love it. The Mandalorians are some of my favorite characters from Star Wars. They are, if not I think they're better than the Jedi. I think Mandalorian are better than the Jedi. I absolutely love them. I like Chewie, I like BB-8, I like Jar Jar Binks, I like the Mandalorians. That's it. They're my favorites from Star Wars. They are so cool. I even have a helmet of a Mandalorian, which you can see in the thumbnail of this video. But yeah, the relationship between Grogu and Mando grew even more. Grogu is now learning and trying to become a Mandalorian, and Din Djarin is teaching him the way, because this is the way. I hope you didn't expect you were going to get through this video without me saying this is the way, did you? Not the Ugandan Knuckles meme. This is the way. Do you know the way? Yes, this is the way. But a lot of people have been shitting on this season, and I don't understand why. Jack Black was in this season, and Lizzo, I think it was. I don't know. It was a popular singer that was in this as well. I don't know what popular singer it was. I'm not up to date with popular singers, but Jack Black was in this season, and Jack Black is an amazing actor, and I was shocked to see him. He has such a good range as an actor. The acting in this is really good. Obviously, what's his name? I'm upset I forgot his name, but the actor for The Mandalorian is only a voice actor. He doesn't actually sit in the suit. It is someone else acting out the suit, which I thought was really interesting. And I thought that was quite cool as well. I don't know. It's like two different people make The Mandalorian, sort of going back to Star Wars' roots, where 3 different people were needed to make Darth Vader. One was the voice, one was the person in the suit, and then one was the person in the suit unmasked. It was like 3 different people who did it, and it was just really cool how it all came together to make one character. But yeah, I liked his new ship as well. There was nice ship fights. There was good fights in general. There was some high stakes and a lot of tension that got built up towards the end with Moff Gideon and the clones. We saw the jump scares as well, so I almost shit myself when he opened his eyes, and Grogu shit himself as well. But there was tension where Grogu and Mando split up. There was joy, there was sadness, where there was obviously a funny bit where Grogu was in the IG-11 sort of robot suit, and he kept saying no. There was a little gag with the little creatures from Star Wars Episode 9, I do believe, which Grogu just kept hugging them, and he wanted to hold them and play with them like they were toys, and I thought that was quite cute. But they were rebuilding IG-11, but they needed this one part, which they then got eventually at the end, so IG-11 is back now. Mandalorians are now on Mandalore. They retook over Mandalore. Moff Gideon is still alive somewhere. He has his own council, like an evil Emperor Council, which is a big twist. What I just don't want them to do is fuck up with the timeline. Because everyone is so concerned about the timeline and where this fits. You gotta make sure that everything is out the way before stuff starts to interact with things. Like, obviously, we have Kenobi's time skip, where it's like 9 years and he looks like an old man. So there is 9 years of stuff that they can really cover. I just don't want them to run out of time, and, because they're on a time schedule. They can only have so much going on with this character in between these 2 sections, or it'll start to cross over with other things and continuity errors and stuff like that. So it's really hard once you have set points with movies and you go back to do a prequel show and you have to maybe rush something to make sure that it doesn't interfere with what came out, which I think is a little dangerous to play with. But they seem to be doing it really well. And all the Mandalorian fight scenes were really cool. Just all of them fighting together as one big team and one big unit was lovely to see. There wasn't as many random aliens or random interactions that didn't make sense. We got to go back and see the ship fixer, I forgot her name. We got to see back. We got to see a load of old characters again, which was obviously nice to see. They're like staples of the Mandalorian. He always goes back to visit them, so it's very nice to see them again here. Overall, I really like this. I am going to give it an 8 out of 10, because I think it could have done better in some areas. Like, the pacing was strange in some areas, but good overall. We had really, like, that one episode with the scientist. I'm not going to stop complaining about that, so it's not going anywhere. That was so dragged out, and it tried to make you care for this character, but I just didn't. I didn't care at all. So I thought that was too dragged out and they could have shortened that down. And I saw a lot of people complain about the episode and say it was the worst episode, but then I saw a contrast of people saying it was the best episode, so it really divided people. And I'm on the side saying it's the worst episode. But yeah, The Mandalorian is absolute good series. I was there every Wednesday, excited, waiting for the episode to come out, and I watched it on the Wednesday. It's the first time I've ever kept up with a show since Moon Knight, which is absolutely shocking to me. But I liked how it focused on the Mandalorian. It was like the Mandalorians as a whole, not just one. And I'm glad that their story is resolved now. There is going to be one more season of Mandalorian and a movie, which I am super hyped for and I cannot wait for. And I hope they don't rush it, and I hope they do take time and think about it and actually work it so then it fits in a satisfying ending. Because the Grogu Luke Skywalker thing was satisfying, but it also sort of made conflictions as well with Ben Skywalker, or Ben Solo, whatever he was called, which obviously they fixed now with him being taken back with the Mandalorian and training with them. But all their suits were really cool as well. Like, the costume designs were amazing in this. There was so many different color variations of the Mandalorian suits, and they all looked like they were wearing scraps and stuff like that. And I thought that was cool because they was living on a planet in a cave, so they was living off scraps. So it's all these little details that just make it a really good series. It is on Disney Plus, so you can go watch it right now if you want. I don't know why you haven't seen it. It did come out a while ago. The CGI was really good for a series as well. With Disney Plus, they seem to put a lot more effort into Star Wars than they do the Marvel CGI. Because this was really good. Like, the aliens and the cosmetics was really good in this as well. So I'm still sticking with my 9 out of 10, because there is still room for improvement, but... Well, 8 out of 10, there is still a lot more room for improvement. But I'm very excited for Season 4. And overall, it's a good series. I don't know why people are complaining. We are still getting Mandalorian content. And I think people need to stop taking stuff so seriously and complaining about every little detail. Nothing's perfect. And they are trying their best, and at least you're still getting some Star Wars content, some Mandalorian content that you all want, and you want it, and you want it now, and you're not willing to wait for them to put time and effort into it, so they're rushing through it as well. I've seen that be a complaint via people. If you want it now, they're going to rush through it. So you got to take both sides with that, and if you don't want them to rush through it, you got to be patient and let them take their time to cook something good. But they absolutely cooked with this one. They fucking roasted it. It was mint. But other than that, hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye. Stay home and stay safe.